Hey guys, I am back, and sorry about that video yesterday. I didn't realize that that video was saved as a draft, so it wasn't showing up for some. I have no idea why it was saved as a draft because I had that done like a week ago. But anyway, it's there now. And I guess what I'm going to do in this video, someone wanted me to demonstrate how I capture audio and do it in stereo and all this stuff. Um, so basically, when I first started this out, I used a program on the Mac called Soundflower, which basically connects the output of a program or your system audio to an input. So basically, I could set, say, the output for the system to Soundflower and then set the input to a program like I used QuickTime Player, or I could have used Amadeus Pro or Lite. And that worked okay, but you have to be careful that you don't screw up your speech, because if you use a screen reader and you send your sounds through, well, if you're not prepared, you won't get any speech feedback, and then you'll be kind of stuck. So I used a combination of that program and a program called Line In, and that worked for a while. Line In basically takes the input from an audio device like microphone or Soundflower in this case, and pipes it through an output device like your speakers. And that worked okay for a while. But probably around when Yosemite came out, Soundflower got really unstable and it would crash. And I think I found an update for it, but I don't think it's really being maintained anymore. And then for Windows, you can get, I think it's called Virtual Audio Cable, but you have to pay like $25 for it, and I wasn't paying that. But that basically does the same thing. So you set your system audio or the output of your program to the device, and then you set the input of your program that you're going to use to capture the audio to that same device. There is something else called VB Cable, I think, which is free. I've used it for Windows. It's not bad, but again, you want to make sure that you have your virtual sound device coming through something so you can hear what's going on, or else if you use a screen reader or use audio, you're going to be screwed basically. So I used those for a while, and then I thought, well, let's just buy a mixer. And basically I'll try to describe my current setup. I've got the MacBook Air, which has 2 USB ports. In front of me right now, God, there's lots and lots of wires and cords and cables and things. Directly in front of me is the Blue Snowball. This is a USB microphone that I got about 8 months ago, 10 months ago. And then I've got a USB hub, because this MacBook Air, only has 2 ports. Plugged into the hub are the Blue Snowball and my mixer, which is a Behringer Xenyx or Xenyx, I'm not sure. It's XENYX 302. And I'll try to describe it. It's pretty small. It's USB, and it plugs in the back. It uses a, I believe it's called USB-B. It's the square-shaped plug. And the mixer is basically a square. If I start on the top edge at the back, on the left-hand side is a port for an XLR microphone. Oh, hey, cat. There's a kitty cat in here. So that's my dad's phone if you can hear it. Sorry. There's an XLR port on the top left, which I guess is used for an XLR mic, which I don't have one of those, and I probably could get one, but eh. And then directly to the right of that are 3 RCA jacks. Now, I haven't figured out what the 2 ones on the outer edges do, but the one in the center is used for line in. So you'd plug in your RCA cable into that, and you want to make sure they're in the correct ports, because if you don't, you could swap around the audio channels and have things from the right coming from the left, and yeah, that wouldn't be good. Beside those 3 RCA ports, there is 2 3.5 jacks. The top one, I believe, is line in. Now, this is not stereo, this is mono. This is for if you have a 3.5 mil microphone. I didn't know this. I found it out the hard way when I tried to plug in a patch cable, and then I went to record something and I was like, why is it recording in mono? So this is somewhere else. If you have microphone lying around, a cheap one, you could plug it in here. Below that, the other 3.5 port is your line out. So if you have a standard pair of headphones, you plug those in and you could hear all the stuff that comes through this mixer. Let's see. That's pretty much the top edge. There are some lights. There's a light above the line in port. It feels like a little dot, but obviously I can't see it, so I don't care. Below those are, you've got a knob on the left, 3 push buttons that push up or down. They click like this. See, like that. The one on the left, I believe, determines whether the whole thing is actually on or off. I could be wrong because I really don't use these that much. The push button in the center, I believe. That turns me. Yeah, that turns me off. I think what that does is controls the mix. It controls whether the device sends your signals to your computer. And the one on the right, I believe, is used to mute the RCA line in port. And speaking of that, I've got my phone plugged in, so if I...
10:21 a.m.
Let's see.
1 a.m.
Yeah.
10:21 a.m.
So that mutes my phone. Because basically I've got a... Well, it's an RCA to 3.5 cable that's plugged in. And I'll tell you something kind of stupid. When I first got this, I got a 1/4 inch. A dual 1/4 inch to 3.5 mil. And then I got the cable and the mixer, and it didn't have 1/4 inch plugs. It had RCA plugs, so I had to get another cable. So for better or for worse, I have a dual 1/4 inch to 3.5 patch cord, and this one. Anyway, the knobs. Okay, so there's 2 knobs, one to the left of the 3 push buttons and one to the right. I believe these control volume. One of them controls the line out level. So if you've got headphones connected to the mixer, you can adjust the volume. The other one, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't use these controls. So, I'm sorry, I can't give a good enough description. But there are those. Below these, you've got 2 sets of 3 slider switches. On the left side, you've got 1, 2, 3. There's a small gap that you can feel with your finger. On the right, there are 3 more. These control panning and I guess tone and bass. Let me see. Let me slide the one on the far left. Okay, that is not doing anything. I think the sliders on the left are for the microphone ports and the line, or the RCA line in.
10:23 a.m. 10:24 a.m. 10:24 a.m. 10:24 Sunday. Press home to unlock. Sunday. 10:20 Sunday, June 18th.
Okay, it's not for RCA. I think it's for probably the XLR and 3.5 jack for input. Which again, don't use stereo. It won't work. It's designed for a mono microphone. So I can't use those right now because I don't have that stuff. The second switch, or the second set of switches, if I flip this one, push it to the left, you notice I sound kind of different. So I can talk, and I guess that's bass. Oh wow, that's really bassy. And that's really tinny. The second one, if I push it to the left, okay, I guess that's yeah, it does something to the tone. I'm not an audiophile expert, so there's probably a word for it that I don't know. I don't use these. This one is for panning, so if I flick that, I'm coming out of the right channel. So is my phone.
10:25 a.m.
Oh no, it's not. So that's just for the main mix.
Menu.
Yeah. Let me push that back. Obviously, if I flick it this way, to the left, it goes over to the left. So I can pan. Okay, so you're probably getting tired of that. So I don't play with those switches too much. Beside those are 2 lights, which I'm guessing are indicators for volume and level. I don't use them. And then on the bottom, you have 3 knobs. The one on the far left, I believe, controls the XLR input.
10:26 a.m. 10:20 Sunday, 10:26 a.m.
Yeah, I leave that alone. I don't have an XLR. The one in the center is the master volume. So if I turn it up, I get progressively louder. And, ooh. Okay, let's turn that down. Because if I use my phone...
10:26 a.m. 10:26 Sunday, June 18th.
Okay, yeah, so that's on its own control. Okay, so I guess that's just for the main mix. And probably that's just the output level of the mix, I think. The one on the right,
10:27 a.m. Sunday, June 18th.
controls probably one of the inputs, but not the RCA. I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at this. But that's the mixer. It's powered by USB, like I said before, and I got it pretty cheap. I got it for $50, 49 or 50, so not too bad. I mean, there are better ones out there that have way more stuff, different things that you can do to the audio, different effects, but for what I want to do, this works just fine. And it's tiny, so that's a description of the mixer. And now I guess I'll tell you how I have this set up, and then we'll wrap this up because this is getting kind of long. So I'm running Windows right now inside of Boot Camp because I quit using Fusion. They kept wanting me to pay for upgrades, and I was like, nope, sorry.
Edit. Blank.
Okay, that's my computer.
Audacity. All control panel. Sound link config.
Okay. Let's take a look at what I've done. So,
sound dialog.
I'm in the sound control panel.
Tab control. Playback tabs.
Under playback, my default playback device is this mixer.
Playback. Speakers. 2 USB audio codec default device.
Okay. That's my default device. Now, you may be wondering, how can he hear this if he doesn't have headphones plugged into the mixer? I use a USB headset, which is plugged into the Mac. And I like this better because I don't have a pair of 3.5mm headphones anymore. Because they keep breaking on me, but yeah. And the sound card is cool because, for instance, so you can hear my speech right now, right?
Synthesizer dialog. Output device. Combo box micros.
Now, if I...
Speakers. 2 USB audio codec. Speakers. 2 USB audio device.
Okay. This is identified as USB audio codec. So if I set it to USB audio device, which is my headset, you probably can't hear it unless my headphones are bleeding through. So let me put it back to Microsoft Sound Mapper.
Sound dial. Tab control.
Okay. Now,
recording tab selected.
What I've done
Okay. Recording
is used a very handy feature in Windows, I believe it's Windows Vista or later, or 7 and later, which is the listen to this device feature, which is just like Line In on Mac. In fact, I wish Apple would provide that under system preferences, but they don't. So if I go to
cancel. Okay. Recording. Microphone. 2 USB audio codec default device.
Okay. The mixer is set as both my input and output device. I don't think you'd have to do it that way, but that's how I did it. Now,
Properties button.
couple things to know.
Pressed. Microphone.
Let's go into Properties.
Tab control.
Let's go to the Listen tab.
Listen tab select. Listen to this device checkbox checked.
Listen to this device. Unless you have a pair of headphones that you can plug into the mixer, or you want to listen to this using a different device like me, I want to send this through my headset.
Playback through this device. Combo box speakers. 2 USB audio device. Collapsed.
Okay. So that's basically what's happening. The input from the mixer is being played through my headset, so I can hear everything. That's very, very, very important. Let me get out of this.
Sound dial.
Oh.
Okay. Record. Properties.
One more thing.
Pressed. Microphone.
By default, I found that this thing was recording in mono.
Tab control.
So you want to go...
Listen tab. Levels tab selected.
Levels.
Mute check. Microphone slider 54.
This is the gain. I guess you could turn it up if you want more volume.
Tab control.
Okay.
Advanced tab selected.
Advanced.
Default. Exclusive. Default format grouping. Select the sample rate and bit depth to be used when running in shared mode. Combo box 2 channel. 16-bit. 48,000 Hz. DVD quality. Collapsed.
Okay. Basically with this setting, you want to set it to at least 2 channel 44.1, because anything below that's going to sound like crap. And if you set it to 1 channel, it's going to be mono.
Tab control. Advanced.
So that's what you need to do for that.
Sound dial. Configure. Select recording device.
And if you can guess...
Microphone. 2 USB. Headset microphone. 2 USB audio device. Ready.
That is the microphone for the USB headset, which I don't use that.
Internal microphone. Cirrus Logic CS4000. Microphone. With already.
That is the internal microphone on the Mac. That sounds like crap. Well, it sounds better on Windows. And this is my Blue Snowball, and I don't know why it's calling it W Ball. I don't know, but anyway.
Set default properties. Pressed. Microphone.
Let me turn down the gain on my headset, actually. There we go. Okay.
Tab control. General tab select. Listen tab select.
If you can guess, you go to the Listen tab.
Playback. Listen to this device checkbox checked.
And if you can guess...
Playback through this device. Combo box speakers. 2 USB audio codec. Collapsed.
It's playing through my mixer.
Sound dialog. All control panel.
So that's basically how it works.
Audacity.
Just to show you.
Menu.
Let's pop open a game here.
7. Palace Punch. Perilous Hearts. Manual. Perilous Hearts. Unknown. Perilous Heart. Start adventure.
Whoops. There we go.
Load. Delete. Save. Speaker test.
Yeah, I have a sappy version of Vocalizer now, but let's see if this is in stereo.
This should come from the left, this should come from the middle, and this should come from the right.
Use your up and down exit. Thanks for playing. Exiting program. Audacity.
And it's in stereo. So, provided that you set this all up correctly, if you set it as your input device in the program that you want to capture the audio, and the output device of the program that you want to be captured. So if you want to capture your computer audio, you set it as your default system device. And basically, it'll capture whatever you send to it. This is also good if you want to use it in things like Skype. So for instance, if I'm on Skype and I want to play something, I set the input in Skype to the mixer, and it sends everything through. And
Audacity. Audacity.
I think that's about it. Obviously, don't set things as both your input and your output, like if you're in Skype or something. Don't set Skype, for example, to both input and output because it'll loop back and probably annoy the people you're talking to. But I think that pretty much describes it. So if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I will be putting links to all this stuff that I have. If you guys know of any good XLR mics or something that I might be able to get, let me know. But you guys take care.